So I announce the contest open. And to start, I would like to remind you some rules. We are having two contests. The first contest is speech contest, international speech contest. And for that contest, we are having 5 speakers who are participating with their speeches, who are the winners in their clubs. And they are having speeches sharp from 5 to 7 minutes, no more than 7:30. Please mind the time, please mind our timers who are sitting over here and over there and online. Please, timers, raise your hands and put on your screen. Raise your raise your cards. So, dear contestants, you will see green card when you, as usual, when you should think on being closer to the end. The yellow card means that you have to think on how to conclude your speech. And the red card, please attention, all of you know, but please attention, that means that in 30 minutes, you might be disqualified. So you should think on completing your speech as soon as possible, but in a logical way, of course. And our timers are going to be displaying those cards without showing that you are over time, in case of overtime. Our offline timers are Natalia Gurova, who is here, and Michael Murphy, and of course, and our online timer is our division director, Vladimir Zakradnik. Guys, please mind him. Hello, Vladimir. Thank you for being with us. Dear contestants, please pay attention to the timer signs. And I would like to ask Vladimir, when Dek Lasky is participating, is delivering his evaluation, please, as soon as 2 minutes or 3 minutes, he's speaking for 3 minutes sharp, just unmute yourself, say red, and mute yourself. Understood? Thank you very much. Okay, and now we are going to introduce you other organizers for today who are, well, not everyone, of course, because we have really diligent, well-performing secret judges here. And thank you guys who participate as a judge here and who are really fair and not judging, but evaluating. However, there is only one judge who is going to unveil himself. And it is our chief judge, Vadim Surzik, Area B1 director. Yes, huge round of applause, because it's a huge job to gather everyone and to give instructions and so on. And finally, my question is, are all the judges present, well instructed, and going to judge in fair way today?
Yes, as we have hybrid contest, we have both judges as offline, so online, and all of them are well instructed and ready to carry their duties.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Vadim. Thanks to the judges. And few rules about our not evaluation, but international speech contest. As far as you might remember, there should be no more than 25%, the quota of the speech, of the borrowed content. And everyone in this room, if you hear that there's 26% of the borrowed content, or at least, or something has been borrowed and half of the speech or the entire speech, it happens, we had the same a year ago, is taken from another source and have been created by the contestant, please tell me or Vadim. That's unfortunately disqualification, but I believe no one here is going to have the same, to have this thing. I'm going to invite here contestants in the same way as we usually do. I say the name of the contestant, the speech title, the title, and the name. And now, has everyone have the order? Has everyone remember who's next? Okay, let us start our international speech contest with the first speech of the first contestant, who is Tymur Berezhnyi. Tymur Berezhnyi, is that what you really want? Is that what you really want? Tymur Berezhnyi.
Microphone.
I will think on it.
Thank you. When important adult people get too tired of their life, their glances turn to children. They are children who should do this, achieve that, and realize all or at least part of the ambitions these important adults once had. The grown-ups teach the little ones how they would achieve things if they could achieve them. It is called passing on experience. And since then, children's life becomes interesting. Children's dreams rarely come true. When I was a kid, I had a blue dream. The Lego airport kit. How do you like it? Yeah. And I also had a very rich father who could easily buy it for me. It cost $200 at that time. But the father said, "Son, you don't really want this toy." And went to a restaurant where he spent this money in one evening. But children not only want toys, they also want to become someone, as it happened to one man I know. Imagine you want to become a yard cleaner, and instead you become an academic. You want to wake up earlier than everyone else, breathe in the cool freshness of dawn, sweep the autumn leaves with a rustling broom, water the asphalt from a hose, pick up interesting things left by passers-by the day before. And everyone knows you, everyone smiles, and no boss scares you, because there are plenty of them, and there are not enough yard cleaners. And they will not demote you, nowhere to, and they will not fire you, because the streets will have to be swept by themselves. Instead, you drag yourself with a violin to the music school, then with a huge folder to the art school, then with a bag of textbooks to the English class. You get scolded after parent meetings, march information at summer camps. You have sessions with tutors, shake before final exams, suffer from nerves before competitions, sessions, coursework, diploma, placement. Your mom faints, your dad calls his friends, you get married. Take a loan, get an apartment, buy furniture, defend your thesis, and your children grow up and you only want them to be happy. Then without stopping, the boss needs articles, the wife needs a fur coat in the car, the children need pens and bicycles, then they need pocket money and freedom, then they need higher education, then they need spouses, and you need an ambulance. Children scatter across cities, get married, stand on their feet, stop calling you. Luckily, they still congratulate you on holidays. You become a grandfather, retire, and can finally do whatever your soul desires. And having the opportunity finally to do whatever your soul desires, you go to the housing office and easily get a job as a yard cleaner. So now this already aged man wakes up earlier than everyone else, breathes in the cool freshness of dawn, sweeps the autumn leaves with a rustling broom, and all the residents know him and smile as they go to work. And he waters the asphalt from a hose, thinking, is life really structured in such a way that you need to make a lifelong circle to get to what you initially desired? Perhaps this is wrong. What do I really want? Whom do I want to become when I grow up? For God's sake, I'm already 40 and I'm only getting close to answering this question. In my life, I've been, let's count, an English teacher, a businessman, a theater and movie actor, and voice and public speaking coach, and now I want to become an opera singer. Dear audience, a question to you. Who has at least once in your life changed profession? Please raise your hand. Oh, wonderful, so many people. And who did this not because the new profession paid better, but because it was what you would really like to do in your life? I think almost everyone. And I'm in a really difficult situation. I truly like my current profession, teaching, But my dream is to fill a large opera theater with my strong and beautiful voice, singing Figaro Valentino Eugene Onegin. And I truly believe I can do it part-time, dedicating the rest of the time to teaching, as I am doing now. Unfortunately, I don't have my own success story yet because my singing is still far from perfect. But you know what? I've got a new teacher now, and he says I'm not hopeless. So every day I make a small step towards my dream, and I'll do it for as long as it takes. And there are plenty of success stories of people changing their profession to a beloved one. We have seen so many hands. However, sometimes it is not easy, and people have to make a hard decision in favor of earning money to sustain their family instead of doing something that their soul desires, but that doesn't pay that well. However, what I believe each person must have is a sincere answer to the question, is this what I really want? And if not, what is it that I want? And how can I get it in the best possible way?
Now I announce a minute of silence for our judges to make their choice. Dear timers, please show the red card or the red screen after the minute is over. Thank you. I already seen a red card. Thanks so much. Many people, many different choices, as well as 3 timers. Okay, our next second contestant is already here. It's Viktoriia Baliuk. It's tough. It's tough, Viktoriia Baliuk. Microphone. Can help you. Yeah, thank you.
Life is so easy, doesn't it? Did you have in your life such situations, or at least one situations, when it was so hard or so tough for you that you decided to give up or at least planned to do so? Raise your hand if you had at least once it in your life. Wow, we have a lot of people who had this. And of course, you could think that, oh, I'm the only unqualified person on the earth. I cannot do anything. I'm the worst person in the room. But you didn't take into account the circumstances in which you could be. For instance, you have a goal to transport a bag of potatoes, fine ukrainskую картоплі, to your apartment. And your apartment is located not in Kyiv, but in Irpin. And you have to do it by bus from shop in Kyiv. Also another situation. You have the same bag of fine ukrainskую картоплі, and you have to transport it not by bus, but using your car, which is near your apartment. And the weight of this bag is not 40, not 30, not 20, but 5 kilograms. What a great weight. And let's imagine that you are a child and you have also to transport the same bag of fine Ukrainian картофель. But you don't do it on your own because you have your parents who can share with you French fries, and you get these French fries without any effort. Would you like? It is different circumstances for both of situations, for these 3 situations. And isn't it tough for each of the person? Imagine that, okay, it is much easier for the child. You have just to persuade your parents and you get these French fries. No, it was so tough for me to persuade my parents to buy these French fries at least once a week because they was in care of my house. So it is tough in both situations. It is tough for all of the people in this room. You don't know their circumstances and it affects. So today, I would like to share with you 3 lumps in my life, which is tough for me. It is so tough. You can believe me. And of course, I will explain how I'm keeping going. The first realm is my education. You know, how is it hard now in Ukraine to get into university? And I decided that I don't want to find easy ways and I want to study in the best university in Ukraine. It was so hard, you know, to prepare to exams, 3 subjects, the process of the preparation, and I had my studies at college and classes at college and programming, which I hate. After this, I had one small super test from the university. After this, I had to write motivational letter, essay also from the university, and I even got an interview. It looks like an application to get a job, but it was my way to the university. And I know that it was also hard for both of you and for all of these people here to get into your universities. You had your ways and your circumstances. The second realm is my hobbies. And this hobby, which I have on the first place, is Toastmasters International. It is public speaking, and I'm the president of one of the Ukrainian speaking clubs. And it was so hard for me to understand how does Toastmasters works. What's going on? How to meet people from other clubs? Because we have a lot of people from different clubs, English and Ukrainian speaking. To meet these people, because I was so shy, of course, and now I am. And to keep going, even when it was tough, to use this during my studying, to organize meetings and continue my studying in 2 universities, or in 1 university and 1 college, but 2 universities, okay? And the last realm, it is not so special as could be, but it is dreams. All of us have dreams, don't you? Yes, I see your very looks, and it means that you have dreams, but we can be afraid of following them. For instance, my dream, my goal is to become a judge. We have a lot of judges here, and I would like to speak with you during our after party. And I would like to become a judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine. But we have also the Supreme Court, and it is different courts. So we have to understand the difference. And I had a lot of different thoughts. Oh, it is so hard, tough. You don't have to follow it. It will take a lot of time and the system will break you. Guys, I know it can happen, but it will not, because it is my choice to follow it. I understand why I accept this challenge, and I know how. And I want you also to encourage. if you understand why you want this and you want to have it, you understand how to do it, then follow it despite the circumstances, because it's tough for all of the people in the room, for all of the people on the earth, and you are not special.
Thank you very much. And another minute of silence for the judges to make their choice and to evaluate for themselves Viktoriia's speech. And our next contestant is going to be online. Дивитися джендер. Туди не дивитися. Okay. Our minute of silence is still in progress. We're just checking this sound. Maybe a bit like that. I see the red card. And if our contestant will be too not really loud, you will make it louder. Okay, our next contestant is online, is Sergei Radchenko. Sergei Radchenko. Slow, fast, normal. Slow, fast, normal. Sergei Radchenko.
Thank you, Natalie. Hello, dear audience. Today I need to talk about, and I want to talk about our tempo rhythm, because I think our tempo rhythm is important. What about slow? What about fast? How often we cannot decide how to act in certain situations, and what will be the result after that? I like to watching people and interacting with them. Moreover, in many areas of my life, it is impossible with it, but it doesn't mean what everyone should be the same. Everyone should act according to their desires and capabilities. And what about tempo rhythm? Sometimes our thoughts and our body living not living our thoughts and our body haven't not connection. It's like different or a lot of differences of their connection. And it's like, you know, it's like when I ask somebody or some person, what do you can you hear what I say to you, or can you hear me? And in this situation, he seemed have to flown to another planet. But sometimes someone speak very quickly, and we can't keep up for him. And in this situation, I need to use the speed of reaction, because the speed of reaction is really important in this situation. But at the same time, sometimes it's quite difficult to find a gold mean. And what about actions? Sometimes, and in nowadays, we have many persons, many peoples who cannot manage their relax and their break. And especially if you a busy man with work and many hobbies. And also in this situation, it's like a life in the room with small untrained puppy, and sometimes it's like a game for him, as you see, and we can understand how to react fast or slow. And in previous years, in previous times, I planned to create some poem about one person, the day of life of one person, and how that person to explore his temperament throughout his days, and I keep this plan in my texts, in my emotions, and in my body, especially in this poem. And about our temperament, as you see, in especially in modern days, we have a lot of message, a lot of calls, a lot of tasks, and very difficult flow of information is not, we can see the end of this flow. And about me, I don't like to hurry up from my work. When my work is finished, I like to sit in alone, listen music, keep the cup of coffee, sitting alone without any calls, without any interacting of another people, and I really slow. I go to the rails. I close my eyes and try to explain how I can find in this, what I can find in this situation, and I try to add for you. Try to explore yourself, especially when you fast, when you slow, not for the words for another people, but listen only you. And in the end of this situation, you can say, yes, I could do it. Yes, I'm mighty. Excellent. Thank you.
Switch up, please. A minute of silence for the judges to evaluate Sergei's speech. And Sergei, thank you very much for participating. The minute is over at the same time now. And now we're ready to invite here, I'm ready to invite here our fourth contestant, who is Laura Arutiunian. I thought you were hiding there. Okay, Laura Arutiunian, love your heritage. Love your heritage, Laura Arutiunian. Yes.
Okay. Dear fellow Toastmasters, offline and online, and dear guests, imagine if you didn't know what a mirror was. Imagine you have never seen your reflection, and you have never seen such thing. Imagine you see a weird oval object on the wall. You come close to it, you take a peek, and you see someone there. What do you think, and how do you think you would describe the picture you see there? That's what my story is about today. Let's set the scene. 6-year-old me, a young Armenian girl who was born and raised in Ukraine, comes to school and is given a psychological form to fill out. She opens it up. She sees, your name. I fill it out. I say, Laura. I'm confident about that. Your age, 6. I write 6. Then it asks your nationality. I think for a second and confidently write Ukrainian. Later, I fill out the form, I fold it, I come home, and my mom checks my backpack to see what I've done at school. She opens up the form, takes a look, and says, Laura, come here. Why did you write Ukrainian here? Mom, I don't know. I was born here. All of my friends are Ukrainian. I live here, so I thought I'm Ukrainian. Laura, sweetie, you're not Ukrainian. You're Armenian. Don't forget about that. Also, do not tell your father about this. My dad comes into the room. Do not tell about what? Dad, it's no big deal. I just wrote that I'm Ukrainian here. Laura, this is not right. Don't you know that you're Armenian? You should be proud of yourself and your identity. Sit down, we need to have a talk. Give me that paper. Throw that away. That was the first time when I found out about my identity, that I am Armenian, about who I am in terms of a bigger community. But however, that time was as a child. I was not very conscious. My parents told me something. I just went on with my life. However, there was another turning point in my life. The year of 2015. That year was the year when it was the year of remembrance of 100 years after the Armenian genocide. 100 years back in 1915, on April 25th, date is considered the date of the beginning of the Armenian genocide. In the Ottoman Empire, the Armenians were considered a lower class nation. We were considered an obstacle to building the big Turkish Ottoman Empire. So they decided to do ethnic cleansing. I'm sure many of the the Ukrainians here in this room know such terms as execution of intellectuals, deportations, executions of civilians, etc. That is what was happening to Armenians in the 20th century, at the beginning of the 20th century. And overall, 1.5 million Armenians were killed in the Armenian genocide. And in 2015, 100 years later, my mom took me to an exhibition where we would watch a movie and take a look at different photographs to remember this day. And to say that I was shocked or devastated is to say nothing. To see people who are lying lifeless on the ground, whole families, while still holding hands. Seeing piles of child skulls. I don't want to go on, but the pictures were awful. And of course, I was affected by it. It was the first time I consciously made the decision that I have to learn about my heritage. I have to know my history. That was the beginning of when I started to learn my language, learn to read and write in Armenian. I learned to know about the writers and poets. I started watching movies from Armenians, about Armenians. It really was the driving force for me to learn more about my culture. And here I came at an older age, at about 18 or 20. I came to Armenia and I decided that I want to have a photo shoot in traditional Armenian clothing with my family. So I convinced all of my family members to come here into the studio, and the experience was out of this world. I stepped into the studio with my regular clothing, just like today, and as they were putting these costumes of the traditional clothing onto me, they started with a long, beautiful dress, an apron with embroidery, a long jacket, a headpiece with a veil, accessories, and other things. As they were putting these things onto me, I really took a step back and I realized, as I was putting these other cultural moments into my life, just like these pieces of clothing onto me, I really could look myself in the mirror, take a step back and say, I really am Armenian, aren't I? And with this story, I want to urge every single one of you to learn about your history, to learn about your culture and your heritage. I urge you to learn and fall in love with it. And I also wish all of you to have this moment to take a step back and feel this sense of identity and belonging to something bigger. And at last, I want to recite one of my favorite poems by my favorite poet in Armenian. I will recite it in Armenian and then translate into English. It goes like this. Հայաստան ասելիս, աչքերս լցվում են. Հայաստան ասելիս, թևերս բացվում են. Չգիտեմ ինչու է այդպես. Հայաստան ասելիս, աշխարհը իմ տունն է. And it translates into, when I say Armenia, my eyes water. When I say Armenia, the world is my home. Thank you.
And the timers waiting for your red cards in a minute. The minute is over. Thank you very much. You are again synchronized. And now we are going to have our fifth, the last but not the least participant, Polina Karabach. Polina Karabach, zero spice, Polina Karabach.
Spicy 18. Do you remember how much energy did you have when you were 18 years old? Yeah, partying all night and still look and feel fabulous the day after. Study until 5 a.m. for that important exam, then wake up at 7, go and pass that exam for A+. No problem. 18 is filled with a lot of flavors, with a lot of spices. Although, if you ask me, which spice do I like back then? I would say, oh, zero spice. Why is that? Ladies and gentlemen, let me invite you to a curious story of an 18-year-old Polina. When I just turned 18, I was quite a confident and happy girl, but I was terrified. I was studying in university and I was striving to get a diploma with honors. And to get it, you had to have not more than 2 Bs on exams. And in a previous semester, I just got 2 Bs already. So I was determined that I was not, from now on, focused solely on studying. No theaters, no movies, no meetings with friends, just studying. And so I did. But to have a little escape valve from all of that pressure, I developed a small habit. Every day when returning from the university from home, I stopped by a store and got myself some cookies, some pastries, some chocolate. Whoa, some chocolate. I would usually eat all of that in one go, lay down in a food coma for a few hours, then wake up and study until 3 a.m. in the morning. That was my regular routine. At the end of the semester, I reached my goal. I had straight A's. But that came with a little side effect of gaining 8 extra kilograms of weight. After New Year, I started to panic. The weight wouldn't go off. And I remember very clearly that on the 8th of March, I made a pact with myself that I will drop all of those 8 kilograms by my next birthday in July. And I started to make changes. First things first, the cookies and pastries went right out of the window. That was first and logical thing to do. I also made sure that I drank a lot of water, that I walked a lot, and that I didn't eat after 6 p.m. You know that method, right? Yeah. And changes started to show themselves. I remember very vividly when I dropped 3 kilograms of weight. It was barely noticeable for anyone, but I was levitating. I was so happy and so motivated to continue. And I did. In June, 1 month before my birthday, I was just 1 kilogram away from my target goal. My routine was becoming more and more elaborate at that time. I was keeping a food diary where I would log every single thing that I ate in a day, and I would put a calorie restriction for myself to just 800 kilocalories a day. For reference, that is the amount of energy containing in 2 of these donuts. Also, it's the number of energy that would be sufficient if I would just lay down in bed the whole day. But I was exercising intensely. I was running, preparing for my first 10-kilometer run. On my birthday, I've surpassed my target goal of weight by 3 kilograms. And in the next month, I dropped 4 more kilograms. And in the following months, I dropped 4 more kilograms. Do you think I was satisfied? No. The more I dropped the weight, the more I wanted to go down. The more I liked my reflection in the mirror, the more I wanted to improve it. I couldn't stop. I just couldn't stop. So if you ask me back then, which spice do I like? I would say, oh, 0 spice, because I wouldn't want to add any extra calorie in my food back then. Ladies and gentlemen, what you just heard was a personal story of developing an eating disorder. And if it wouldn't for the health issues that I got afterwards that made me think and want to change it, and they made me stop, I don't know where I would be today. It took me still years and years until I finally got to a healthy relationship with my body and with food. So if you relate to the story, or if you know a person that well, this is what I would have told to a person struggling with eating disorder, and what I would have told to an 18-year-old myself. You are so much more than your weight. If you want to be attractive, focus on things like how you dress, how you put your makeup on. What do you know? What can you do? Can you run a marathon? Can you speak in public? These are the things that make you a wholesome person and therefore more attractive. If you really want to shed those kilograms, focus on health. If you focus on health, the not so healthy choices will be canceled out as well, and you'll return to your normal weight, but you will preserve your mental and physical health. And last but not least, add spice to your life and to your food, because they make them much more flavorful. Madam Contest Chair.